Radio here, live on the New Visions Radio Network. I want to keep saying exclusively, but audio-wise, it's exclusive to New Visions Radio, of course. And we're simulcasting on our YouTube channel. And, well, I don't know about you, Alex, but do you have Halloween blues?
I always have Halloween blues. Especially since the day after they start showing Christmas shit already.
I mean, come on. There were people that had Christmas decorations up already.
Yeah, no kidding.
There were people making excuses, putting up their trees early and decorating it with Halloween stuff.
That's sad. Sad.
No, hey, a Christmas tree for Halloween? I mean, it is your Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Well, doesn't it make sense?
I guess. I had to resize the windows. Everything fucks up every time I do that.
I've got a psychic moment here, and I'm guessing, Alex, that your tree is black.
No, it used to be red, but we got rid of it, and we got a regular green one now.
You gave in.
I gave in. The red one was too big.
The red one was too big. Why red?
Because both Lisa and I like red.
Okay, but I'm asking you, why red?
I just told you, because we both like red, and it's a color of blood.
Why do you like... Oh,
is that what you wanted to hear?
There it is. That's what I want to hear, exactly. Well, okay, so tonight we've got two of our favorite guests on.
Yes.
Michelle Desrochers and Amelia. Hi, guys.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Outer Realm radio show. In case you've never listened to it, you know what? You shouldn't be. I don't know. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Aw, I agree.
Boo, boo.
I mean, come on, guys. Tell them some of the guests that you've had on recently.
Come on, we've had you guys on not once but twice.
Yeah.
Twice. That speaks volumes. You're right there.
No burritos, but you were there.
Wow.
How about who else? Who else? You've had some pretty cool guests on.
Oh, we've had all kinds of great guests. We've had Brian Cano. We've had Steve DeChevy. We've had God, I don't know. We've had all kinds of people. I don't really keep track of who's who. I don't have my book.
I remember I remembered Brian in Western New York years ago, before he got his TV stint. Cool guy.
Oh, way back.
I met him in Gettysburg.
He's a sweetheart.
The Wayback Machine. Yeah, he was really, he was a really nice guy.
Well, remember, he ran that.
Very sweet man.
Yeah, he ran that group Scared.
Hmm.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he it was sort of like a TV oriented. They would, make these like featurettes, if you will, of their investigations, and they made it like TV like. It was interesting, pretty cool, and in person he's a really nice guy. He's interesting. He's very, very in tune to, what makes the paranormal tick, if you will.
And he's so polite. It's unbelievable.
Oh
in person, he's just like the same. He's just a sweetie.
He's got my reverse energy. He's very calm, quiet.
What are you saying, Amelia? Are you saying that you're not calm?
No, I'm not.
She's a squirrel, man. Seriously.
Not at all. I can have 100 things going on at one time, but he's the polar opposite of me, and I think that's why I have so much fun when we interview him, because I'm just like in awe at how calm he is.
Yes, he's just really, really chill the entire time. But we've had great guests. We've got like phenomenal guests coming up also. In the new season, the new year. We just had Mitch Markowitz.
Hilarious House of Frightenstein.
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, he's a really, really good friend of mine, and he's just a real sweetheart. And he was so excited to do the show. and he did this rap video.
yeah?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it was good. So we played that, and we're waiting for those archives. But of course, a certain hurricane hit the station, so all
Oh.
power's out. Everything has just gone dormant. We're like, what the hell happened? Yeah, so we're waiting on all of that right now.
I-
sadly, there was quite a bit of devastation down in New Orleans. So our hearts go out to Joe Montaldo and his family.
Yeah.
But
It's been crazy. It's been crazy. I mean, that's what, 5? 4
Oh
or 5
yes.
this
He
year.
was pretty unscathed up until this last one. It nailed him pretty good. So yeah, they sustained some good amount of damage. But mind you, New Orleans itself really got hit hard. So
Yeah,
it's hopefully we'll be back up and running soon. If not, we're just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, pre-record it, and then put it on archive.
well, it's really hard when you have guests booked ahead of time and you're on 2 nights a week. That's
we're
pretty
booked
hard.
like 6-7 months in advance.
That's right. You guys are twice a week now.
And we're booked into
Wednesday
July
nights.
of next year.
Wow, that's good. That's awesome.
Oh, it's great. And it's
See, Alex will never get back on the show.
No.
Oh,
No.
sure
The
you
book's
will.
solid.
Of course you
Sure
will.
you will. We leave a couple of spots every month just for
The next, I got an idea for the next show. We all have to buy burritos and eat the burritos on there, on live, as we're doing the interviews.
Michelle's out already. Michelle's already out. As soon as you said burrito, she was like, yeah, camera off.
Put a burrito in my temple? What?
If you said pizza, she might have been.
Well, just grab a pizza, roll it up like a burrito, and make it look like a burrito.
There you go. See, I'm with Alex. I
will be a
That's what
team
you should
player.
be doing.
Darn it, I will.
Yes. No beans.
You know,
I know. Hate beans.
speaking of, well, not burritos, but Hilarious House of Frightenstein. I used to love that show.
Oh, grow up with it.
Griselda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's your favorite characters?
Yes.
I mean, come on, there were so many of them.
Got to be the Count for me, obviously.
She was the first cooking celebrity chef for me.
It was a great show, and I love Vincent Price. That introduced me to Vincent Price at a really young age, and then went on to be a huge Vincent Price fan. And to think, for me, it started right there.
Yeah.
He was a creepy guy on the show. I love him.
He creeped me out as a kid. He creeped the shit.
It's his
out
voice.
Of me.
That was his voice, his demeanor, just him alone. I mean, there's only so many actors of that caliber that give off that presence. I mean, I can think of Christopher Lee.
Oh yes.
Being another, and maybe Peter Cushing. Another.
Bela Lugosi,
Bela
he was very
Lugosi, even,
stereotypical.
Yes.
Just he was typecasted, but he was just
Boris Karloff.
Yes.
Oh yes.
That's a whole other era. It's a whole other generation, right?
It's a whole different generation, that's for sure. But they all had their, I mean, if you will, they were ahead of the monster clubs for their generations, which was pretty cool. There's so many cool.
Do you remember, like, you get one Friday night a month where there would be a marathon of like 3 movies, and you would stay up all night?
Oh
my
yeah.
dad used to stay up with me. Like, Mom, I'm staying up for that. My dad's like, yeah, I'll stay up with that.
Aww. You know what we used to have at school in Toronto at night. We'd have a movie night during Halloween, but the movies that they played were like Abbott and Costello and The Mummy. Like Frankenstein it goes after the Three Stooges. Like those kind of films were the films they played, and they'd raise money for the school. Right? I don't know. Maybe Toronto was different.
No, you know what? I still enjoyed those movies though.
Yes, but that's
really
what we did in primary grades, like grades 1 through 5. We would do that, and it would be the week of Halloween that we would be doing that and going at night for that one movie in it. And I still remember those days. But I thought that was really funny. And I used to think those were so scary until I saw Black Christmas, and I was like,
yeah.
What? Scary movie.
What? It ends there until you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like can't you see my face? It was like, right.
Squirrel,
and then did you see the remake? I didn't see what.
God.
I don't do well with remakes. Just saying.
I didn't
No,
watch it. I
I'm with
caught
you. I
like a
agree.
few minutes on television, and I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't. I don't like when they do remakes. They
They're terrible.
you can't recreate a classic, especially when you have these. You look back at these classics and you have these amazing established actors right now. Some of them Oscar winners. How can you do that? How can you remake that? It's not possible.
Because Hollywood is not creative. It costs way too much money to take a chance on a new film when you can remake the old ones. You know it's going to at least generate something and you're going to make some of your money back.
Yeah.
And they're just lacking imagination. I find it's just getting. How many
And
times
It's
can you
that's
really
remake a film?
sad. It's really,
that's
especially Amityville. I mean, how many versions of it are there? And yet the first one is the best for me, anyways. Although Ryan
I
Reynolds
think
did do a
for
really
me
good
it's
job,
the only one, to be honest.
I know.
right?
Oh, I
Yeah,
know. I know.
Part 2 and 3,
yeah,
they were just absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I
yes.
mean, I'd watch them. Don't get me wrong. I'd watch them again, but they were just in comparison. Even the first one wasn't a classic, but it was
No.
a roughly. The thing about Amityville Horror that I really uh, fascinated about is actually the DeFeo story
Mhm.
more than what happened with supposedly happened in the house afterwards.
Well, did you listen to the interview on the show with Laura DiDio?
No,
She
I
was
missed that.
she's coming back on the show. She was the reporter that broke the story, and she gave a lot of inside stuff as to what went on with all of that.
Wow,
I
interesting.
know, you have to listen to the
Is
archive.
she say yeah, but is she saying it really did go down, or
She's
You have to
basically
tune
said
in, find
she's
out.
basically said that
oh, I'll tune in.
she
Yeah.
interviewed the priest. The priest did say he was growled at and something slapped his face, or he was told to get out. A voice came out of nowhere, told him to get out. The priest did admit to this. There was a neighbor boy who heard the dog barking the night of the murders. The dog was outside, and he came home after, I guess, working, and he didn't. I say boy, like he's a teenager, and he didn't have any reason to think that it was an issue. Maybe they forgot the dog. Um, Interviewing neighbors, nobody heard the gunshots at all. Like they didn't even see the lights. Like they
Do you,
saw
do you
nothing
think
until the next day when the dog was still outside barking.
he was protecting his sister?
Mm,
Do you think the sister actually did the killing?
it's so hard to say. It's so hard to say. He claims that he's changed his story. So
It
Oh,
wasn't hard for me to
50
say it all.
million
I'm like,
times.
I believe he had
50
an
million
attachment.
times.
Personally, I do, because he did have a drug addiction, like a pretty
Yeah,
bad one. He
yeah,
was said to have stolen $20,000 from his family. Was it the
yeah.
car lot or I think I don't know. I think it's like a double-edged sword, which came first. But with that, to be found out and they suspected him,
Mhm.
could that alone have led him to murder the whole family? I can't see why he would do the kids. But at the end of the day, because nobody heard anything, like they didn't hear the gunshots, nobody moved in their beds. And the fact that nobody heard the shots at all, and there was somebody next door who was up and didn't hear anything except for the dog.
that's a
Like
shotgun.
there's
Yeah.
something there.
That's a shotgun. And if a dog is barking all night, you're gonna call the
Yeah.
cops at one point. You're gonna be like, I can't take this anymore. But not only
Well,
that, they didn't check his sister for GSR if they even thought it was her.
well, that's what I mean.
So
There's just so many,
Mhm.
they would have
unanswered
found
things.
gunshot residue on her in a heartbeat. That was a
Yeah.
large caliber gun. That was a shotgun. There would
Mhm.
have been gunshot residue all over their arms. It wouldn't have just been on his hands. It would have been
Mhm.
on his forearms. It probably would have been on their clothes. Not only that, in a criminal perspective, you have to remember none of these people moved from their beds. Coroner
Mhm.
said that they were shot and killed that way.
Yeah.
So they didn't hear any of the other shots that were going on. Children would automatically rush and hide.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah,
That
yeah,
didn't
exactly.
happen here.
What's
So
going
it
on?
sounds very, I know, it's just like Brian
Well,
Cano would say, what
Christopher Lutz and his brother Danny
Mhm.
swear
Yeah, of
that
course they did.
there's a lot of but there's a lot of people who's like, oh no, yeah, it was a hoax. George Lutz admitted to attempting a hoax. But based on what had happened, amplifying all of that, the boys swear. I mean, they're pretty traumatized over it. Laura knows them both. And she said, all I can do is speak for myself. She goes, have I ever had an experience in the house? She goes, not per se. She was there the night of the big seance, and, she, I think, went in again with Hans Holzer, but at the end of it all, she goes, when everything was over, I went in with my dog and we just kind of walked around. I'm thinking, I'm going to see if I feel anything as I'm by myself here in the house. And the dog went right to the bottom of the stairs and started like barking, and the hair on the back of his neck went up, and he went into like a protective stance against her with her to protect her. And she goes, okay, that's all I needed. She goes, and I was out. She's going to delve further into it when she comes back. I think she's back in March. So it's a good archive. You should, like, if you really want to get into a little bit more of the personal stuff that isn't put in there.
About the DeFeos, yes.
Yeah, she's got stuff on the DeFeos. She's got stuff on the Lutzes, but remember the community as well, which we touched on. It's a real uppity up community. They would never allow a haunted bed and breakfast. They would never allow things like that. And what it's going to do is it's going to, put down, bring the property values down. They're not going to have that. We even asked her about people who live in the house after. And she said, I interviewed people who lived in the house after. And it was this elderly couple. And she goes, oh, that's just all ghost stories that are made up. And she said, while I was on the phone, her voice changed. Because she says, oh, she mentioned one of the Lutz boys. I think it was Christopher. And she said, this whole bird, like her lady, her voice changed completely. Something about, you're never going to bring that little brat back in here. So like, it was, and she goes, and then the sweet old lady just kind of went.
I believe she asked permission to bring him back to interview him.
That's what it was. And her voice changed and just like, it's like,
she, all of a sudden there was this intuitive fear that came out from her. And that you have to beg and wonder and ask yourself a million questions, just like the Conjuring home. Okay. The Perron family home, they swore, not the Perron family, but the families that moved in later, up and down, that there was nothing, yet someone just bought it. Was it been a year? And there's constant activity, and there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Activity also, though. They've got reports going.
So there's a lot
investigators.
Exactly. Thank you, Michelle. So that there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
It says
a lot for things.
Yeah, there's a lot of claims like that, and I don't want to speak ill of anybody.
No,
I'll be honest. I've always been honest. I've never been a big fan of the Warrens. I know there's a lot of fans out there, and the reason why I've never been a big fan of them, it's not that I dislike them. No, I don't dislike them. I just didn't like the fact that they used a sort of a religious sort of standpoint in the way they investigated. But I mean, it just seems that a lot of the locations that they investigated, and again, these movies that cover them, The Conjuring and, Amityville and all this kind of stuff, it just amazes me how things get blown out of proportion.
It's easy to do.
It's easy to do. Yeah. It's very easy.
And it's media. Come on.
Well, that's what I mean.
I always say, how many people think I run around screaming demon all the time because they see me on TV? and I'm answering questions that I give 4 or 5 other answers to, from the most benign to the most plausible to the most extreme. What's the one they go with?
Well, obviously.
Yeah. Well, ratings.
I think we've talked about this
we have,
several times. These people, they approach you for a TV show, and all they want is a story about demons, something demonic.
That's true.
Hollywood will not create anything but the formula that works.
They don't care about psychokinesis.
No, they don't.
That was so 70s. Come on.
There's a lot of mediums that don't care about PKing either. We won't go there, but there's the greatest misconception for me with Hollywood is that every demonic haunting film, every paranormal film has the biggest league of demon behind it. That doesn't exist in real life. We don't walk up to the doors and see the great old ancients. That's just ridiculous.
Okay, don't you forget it.
Yeah, exactly. And where there's one, there's many is very true to that saying.
But you know what?
But it's
funny.
not always the big guy. That's not Lucifer himself at your house. Like, so
People they just can't get their head around the fact, like we find with people that we assist, and I've found this for many years, when you try and tell them that I try to be very nice about it, saying, well, you're projecting energy and blah, 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 blah. So I send them links on psychokinesis to research. I really do try to be delicate about it. And I'm like, I think you should just see if there's some similarities, because there's not, like, we don't find anything there. Well, it's not there. There's no, I mean, it's all stereotypical things that you look for, and when it's just not adding up, you go for the obvious. It's like, why would you prefer, no, there's a demon in the house, to, gee, I'm a pretty powerful being and I can project energy and do these freaking amazing things.
That would be a great episode of any paranormal show. I'd watch that.
Stuff, you know what I mean?
Right?
Throw that door open, get it out of my way, get these girls.
You don't have these crazy looking beasts with cool names associated with those. I mean, unless you're Uri Geller or something like that.
Hey, name your superpower. You can your telekinesis or psychokinesis. You can name that shit anything you want. If you can do it, you can name it.
Look at the X-Men. I mean, the whole cast right there is basically a paranormal nightmare.
we should make up a new psycho whatever power that nobody's ever heard of and see how far that goes.
Not even us.
Probably, you probably just die right here, because people, you're right, they don't care about the logic behind a lot of stuff, but if people believe it, you have to start with what's up here. You have to just start chiseling away at it, removing the layers, figuring out where it all stemmed from. Sometimes there's stuff there, sometimes there's nothing there, sometimes it's human behavior, it's depression amped up, it's anxiety amped up, there's it's just, I don't know, I think people have become very conditioned, and that might have a lot to do with media.
I have a tendency to destroy electronics in this house, brand new or not, and I don't mean by dropping them, I mean simply by touching them. And I never understood.
You never come into my house, by the way.
No, not if you have a whole studio set up. I don't blame you for that. I'll stay outside with my mask.
There you go.
Like seriously, like cell phones, I go through things. Toaster ovens, I go through multiples in a year. Coffee makers, microwaves, which I don't even use a microwave, so I don't know how the hell. I'm not the one using it.
Good if you get tired of an appliance. You're like, I think I want the newest one that's out there.
But it's really ridiculous when you're going through 2 to 3 of them in a year, because somehow you zap and it zaps and then it's gone. It's bye-bye. It's bye-bye.
We should do a test. Should do a test. Just put Amelia in a room with some kind of electronics and see what happens.
And no carpet.
New hairdo.
How about the case of the family that they would buy a brand new refrigerator. They moved into a new home, and they bought a refrigerator. Within a couple of days, there was dents on the front door, and they're like, "Okay, how did those mysteriously get there?" So they called up the place they bought it and said, "Look, we want to return it. We've got dents in it, da 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 da." And the company or whatever offered them, "Look, we'll give you $50 out." "No, we want a brand new one. This is absolutely ridiculous. It must have happened when they brought it in or something, because it wasn't there before." And then fine, they came, they switched it out, got a new fridge. A couple of days later, dents on the side of it. Okay. So they phone the place up again. "Look, I don't know what your guys are doing when they deliver this thing, but there's dents on this one as well." And they couldn't figure out what was going on. So they managed to say, "Look, okay, fine, we'll switch it out, but we're gonna make sure that it's carefully delivered this time, and we're going to do a full inspection, and take pictures to make sure that nothing's happening." So, they brought in a new fridge, and took pictures of it, documented. Everything was A-okay. A couple days later, there was dents on the freezer door. So what was going on was, they couldn't figure out what was going on, and then finally, they set up a camera. They set up a camera in the kitchen to see, okay, maybe somebody's getting in the house or something. Why would they want to dent the fridge if they're breaking into a house, sort of thing? The father was sleepwalking.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
He was sleepwalking, and he would go to the fridge, open the fridge, close it, and start banging on the fridge.
Because there was no burritos in
Oh
there.
no.
So, don't
Yeah,
they
you don't
feel
want them in the fridge though.
Yeah.
no? Don't they feel stupid, right?
Oh my God! But you see so
Oh,
much.
that is funny. I thought you were gonna tell me they saw some anomaly on
Oh,
camera.
no.
Just then.
So
I think
much
that's
stuff
every-
can be explained
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
it's
No,
unfortunate.
my burning through batteries and light bulbs cannot be explained away. I honestly don't get it. It's just me. It just I always think I give off too much static electricity. I don't know. I wish I knew how to
How's your hair not
Yeah,
standing up
harness
if that's
it.
the case?
hone it. It is. I'm holding it
No,
down
are
right
you? Okay.
now.
No, seriously, we can do an experiment and plug
have,
you
like,
in
a
somewhere and
handkerchief
just
there?
like
We should do something though, seriously, Michelle. I've
Plug you
always
in?
wanted to talk to you
See,
about that.
Michelle,
No, you might want to plug something into me because I'm like, what the
Michelle,
hell?
you
is
don't know
going on
this.
here?
Here's a test for
you don't know
Amelia.
this,
Here's a
Michelle,
test
but
for
when we first met Amelia, both Steve and I had afros.
you.
Nice try.
Talking about static electricity, right?
I managed to retain my beautiful locks, and I work with Amelia.
That's right. And I
much
spend a
couple
lot
times
more
week.
time with her than you do. Yeah.
Look, she's straight.
Beautiful hair. She has beautiful, and she has tons of hair.
I'm just going to paint a red
Yeah.
stripe over here.
Only
Yeah,
one-
just some.
Only
We'll
one
start
stripe.
saving from her next haircut.
Yeah. Yeah, save it. Save it. I'll glue it to my head.
We'll start saving.
Do you want
it.
the red or the black?
It doesn't matter. I'm easy.
Don't let that get around.
Yeah.
We'll blank for burritos.
Yeah.
Fill it in your
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
No, seriously, there's got to be. Is there some technical, paranormal kind of any explanation to that where you're constantly breaking electronics and going through? I've got
It's
two photo printers and they're being used to hold up my laptop right now because neither one of them work. Both brand new.
It's called static electricity.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, you just have an
Well, maybe I
abundance.
should do something about my pH level.
No, maybe. Okay, do you have a handkerchief there? You got a
No,
handkerchief, a cloth?
I have a tissue. But
Oh,
that's
that won't
it.
work. Tissue will
No.
break.
It'll burn.
Yeah, it'll break. It'll break. Break. Yeah, it'll burn.
Catch
break
on
apart.
fire.
It'll catch on fire. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a short break here. We're gonna have to take a break because I think we're getting a little too crazy. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about paranormal stuff, of course, with Michelle and Amelia. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, by the way.
Thank you for having us.
And whatever you do, don't break the stream.
Static
Don't move,
electricity.
Bubba.
No,
Just sit there.
seriously. I'm
Just
not
sit there.
lying. I go through batteries like crazy and I'm using the remote control. And batteries on my phone. Everything.
You don't want to
just
know where my
goes
mind went there.
crazy. Yeah, no, I know where your mind. That's why I had to clarify
Yeah.
it.
It's sad that I know.
You don't
Sad
put
that I
batteries in
know.
those. You don't put batteries in those things anymore. By the way, you charge them USB. But anyway,
I thought you plug them in.
you don't have to plug them in. You can charge them.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
I break everything. I go through light bulb after light bulb. It's insanity. So I don't understand it.
It's not
That's
breaking.
what I need. Maybe that's what I need to just level that off.
Yeah.
That's what Alex is having.
It works for me.
Okay.
Right?
Hold on, guys. Um, so if you'd like to follow us on Twitter, it's at Dark Discussions. Facebook, type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio, and Instagram, Nocturnal Frequency Radio as well.
And don't
And
forget to subscribe. Yeah, subscribe and like.
to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube already, great. If not, head over there, Nocturnal Frequency Radio, and subscribe. And again, our Teespring shop.
Yeah.
Teespring.
Teespring. We have merch. T-shirts, sweaters.
Yeah, we have merch. T-shirt, sweaters.
Yeah, we have the pullover sweater and also the zip-up sweater. We have a mask.
Yeah.
Neck gaiter.
We've got Alex's special burrito
That's right.
sauce.
Specially made.
Specially made, yeah. Jesus.
Okay, burrito.
Hold tight. You're listening and watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio. We'll be right back.
It hides nestled among the century-old weeping willows, watching in its lonely state, waiting to share its story. The tragedy soaked within its hollow walls. Before this ancient and abandoned farmhouse, it hides nestled among the century-old weeping willows, watching in its lonely state, waiting to share its story. The tragedy soaked within its hollow walls. Before this ancient and abandoned farmhouse is lost forever. Listen carefully as you walk down that old dark road to find what secrets it harbours.
we go. Here we go. And welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Smokes Up.
Only I do the smoking.
Radio live on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course our YouTube channel. If you're listening to us, thank you. Kevin is in the chat room. Hey Kevin, how are you? Long time listener.
Where's your New Visions Radio?
New Visions, yeah. And of course, you can also watch us on YouTube. Yeah, this is becoming quite insane like usual, but I mean that's what we look for, right? I mean, this is why we do the show. Paranormally insane. We've got.
There's no sanity in the paranormal. What are you talking about?
No,
it's the day after Halloween. Come on, this is like we're hungover.
So okay, well let's get into that. How was your Halloweens or Halloween?
Halloweeny.
Halloween.
Well, I live in a haunted house, so it's always active. But I have to say it was really strange last night because we were getting the sound of doors opening and closing at the front vestibule door. We're like, so my son was staying here the night, and he's like,
oh no.
He's going,
oh no, I forgot about that.
Did you hear that? We're like,
yeah.
There's gotta be a car door next door.
So you guys have like normal activity then every day, right?
All the time. And I find it was more active though last night. Even trying to go to bed last night, we had walking up and down the hall and stuff like that. We don't really get that very often. Like everything's pretty quiet. Everybody thinks you live in a haunted house and like things are going off the scale all the time. It's not like that at all.
So it could be the fact that
control.
So it could be the fact that there's somebody new in the house, maybe a new energy.
Absolutely. They're all showing off, or they know maybe he's a little unsettled. It's like, here we go.
We can have some fun tonight.
Maybe.
So, or he's back.
Yeah. Like him.
So I have to ask this, Michelle. Have you tried making contact?
Oh yeah, we know who everybody is. We've always known like who everybody is, and it's very funny because we were doing some renovations, and this house was built in 1872 by a really historical family in Niagara Falls, the Bamfields, and they owned a lot in the area. And this house was built for Mrs. Bamfield to entertain in, because her husband owned a business which was like a restaurant near this train station, and they had a little bit of a house of ill repute going on upstairs. So sometimes it kind of went over to the other house, and she's like, I'm not going to live in that house like that. So anyway, he built her this house, and I'm sure it wasn't quite like that. I'm sure it might have been more hostile. I don't know. But anyhow, so this house was built for her to entertain it. And over the years, people bought it. They turned it into, apartments, like they sectioned it off. So it's been a journey trying to undo all the damage that was done. And in doing so, you kind of get an idea like, I'm sure there was a door here, or I'm sure there was here. We renovated the bathroom. I found a freaking window, and we found the swing door between the dining room and the kitchen. They used it to block a section off in the wall. We're like, well, there's a swing door.
So when did they section it off? Do you know approximately?
It was in the 80s. Yeah, they sectioned it off in the 80s, and then the house actually went dormant for a while. There was nobody in it at all, and it was going a little bit, it was getting to be in decay. And when the owner, before we got it, came into it, there were newspapers, like she hoarded newspapers, like everywhere. There were trails to the house, and it was insane. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so sometimes we just ask the spirits, is there a wall here? And you can ask, for knocking, pendulum, do some crazy stuff. And like, oh yeah, there it is. And we knock out a wall, and there it is. And we found a door, and it had all beautiful wainscoting and all in and around it, just framed in, just beautiful. So they let there were intruders on the property one time, and all of a sudden, all the lights and the security went on, and you can see it from Spaceman. There's a lot of lights at the security. But then, they would basically start calling calling your name and stuff. You go to sit down and go back to bed, they call your name again. You get up, and the security lights will go back on, and they're very proactive and they're very kind for the most part. I think, there was an incident where something came in. Well, okay, since I've been living here, there's been a few incidences where something has come in.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I get growled at a lot.
Holy shit. And you will too if you sit there with her.
Oh, yeah. I would walk into the kitchen one day because I was, working with this family, and I'm going, okay, I'm going to start working with this family. And I hadn't even delved into it yet. And I heard this big growl come at me. And I started just laughing. Like, really? It's like, walk away. Whatever, I'll talk to you later, man. It's just, So, yeah, there have been incidences, but Halloween is pretty much every day here.
Sounds like my kind of house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anytime. Anytime. I have a real treat.
Dave, I think we should head over to Michelle's house one day and just do an investigation.
Well, I don't want you there because you just deter them.
Oh, come on. Yeah, at least I don't break things.
There wouldn't be any action then.
I don't break things like Amelia does.
Amelia's been to the house. She didn't zap anything.
I've never done any. I've been there more than once. Thank you. I was there every week at one point before all this shit. But yeah, I never did anything.
No, I'm talking about the electronics.
It was a B&B.
Michelle has some really beautiful spirits in that home. And they're loving. And I remember the first time I was there was the first day that we met. You were gracious enough to have us in your home, which I was just so shocked at. I'm like, are you sure? And I remember
you look harmless enough.
The ghosts were going, oh, look, here comes Electra again.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a really cool nickname.
Let's go after the little bubbly one.
The little bubbly one.
Maybe I should change the name tag. The name tag to Electra Pisano.
Electra. Yeah, my dad's ancestors will just love you for that. They built Pisa and she's electrifying.
Yeah.
But you go in there, and I remember that first night that we were there. And I said to you, "Oh my God, your cat, so beautiful, such a rich black." And you're like, "We don't have a cat." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't have a cat?" I just saw a cat like jump up to get Wayne's attention, and then it was gone. And I'm like, "You didn't tell me you have a cat inside. We don't have a cat. What went with the cat?"
I know. And the spirits are fascinated by tattoos.
Uh-oh.
Because it's a different generation. Yeah, so they're very fascinated. I don't have it.
I have two.
So they're not fascinated by me at all because I don't even have
tattoos as well. Yeah. I don't know. This was a B&B for a while, and people came because it was haunted. And they 90% of them had some kind of experience, whether it was just walking around or something opening the door. We don't get out of the shower. Sometimes they'll say, "Were you just upstairs?" I'm like, "Nope."
Speaking of B&Bs down in the Niagara area, Niagara on the Lake, there was a really nice one called the Brockmore.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool place. We got to do a little TV shoot in there, and we got to stay in there overnight. Very interesting place. But again, it's like a lot of the houses down there, they're rich in history.
What isn't haunted in Niagara on the Lake?
Well, that's what I mean. There's so much. It's funny because
blood on the ground. You have to remember that. There's blood all over that ground.
Oh yeah. I think one of the neatest places in that area is probably Queenston.
Yes, Queenston Heights.
Queenston has some really, really nice houses there, and a lot. Well, there's that old school that's just sitting vacant.
Ooh.
I forget that. What is it called? The what's the name of the? Sits up on the hill.
I know the one you mean. I don't recall the name. It's not far from the Laura Secord house, I believe.
Yeah. It's right. Yeah, very close to the Laura Secord house.
Yeah, there's an old mansion there that's used as a school right now. It's not
Yeah.
up. It is up on a hill, actually. If you
That's the
come from the
one.
front.
That's the one I'm thinking.
Oh, we
That's
filmed in
yeah.
there a few times. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Nice
a
place.
restoration school type of.
Yeah.
And go and learn how to do restoration of all these great places because Niagara Lake is full of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's so much.
It's a great place. It really is.
And it's funny. I took a picture of this one house. Um, I guess people still live in it. I'm not sure. It looks like it, but it doesn't. And it looks like it could use a nice, restoration. But I like the fact that it looks authentic. It looks as is. It has been for many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
and including the fence in front of it. I got to show you. You probably know it. I'll show you the picture. You probably know the place. Really, really cool
In
place.
Niagara Lake or
In Queenston.
Queenston, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot
Queens.
of places.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's very active. It's you have to think of all the history. I mean, this house itself, 1872, do you know it was built with hemlock that was over 400 years old?
Oh wow.
Because we have a friend of mine, his name's Dave Bennett, and does a lot of he owns a page called Historical Niagara, and he does a lot of beautiful woodworking. Even William Shatner chased him down at a show to get some of his woodworking. Will the guy, Jonathan Frakes,
Yeah.
Nichelle Nichols, they all have his stuff. And we donated tons of wood when we did the restoration, and it was all 400-year-old hemlock. And one of the historical societies in St. Catharines, they just dug up this barge. They're doing an excavation on it from the 1800s, and they were trying to test the wood samples and the age as to what was in the area at that time. And they asked we gave them a really big chunk of it so they can do some research, because it's like, this house isn't 400 years old, but
Yeah.
we have older wood than some of the houses that are built in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Wow.
I know, we were really surprised actually when they tested it. We're just like, how old?
That's really cool, though.
And you
It
still
is.
have some of that in there?
It's still in the bones of the house. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that would definitely stir up some really interesting energy, I think.
Oh, it sure did.
Yeah.
Still
And it's
does.
been interesting.
Still does.
It
Still
still
does.
does. I have people who message me. They see a picture on the house on Facebook,
Mhm.
and they start reading the house, and they'll
Okay.
message me, and they'll say things like, your house has no walls, and I laugh, and do you know there's this kind of a spirit here, or this kind of a spirit here? I'm like, yes, I know. It's interesting that the people just gravitate to it. But the spirits gravitate to it, because sometimes you end up with spirits in here that you have no idea who the heck they are. Like, we have
Mhm.
security cameras here, and I'm funny with orbs. I don't put a whole lot of merit into them, but then I see them on the security camera and they do these weird things, and I realize I'm thinking nobody's been in the house for 2 months, and there's no forced air. It's all radiators, the old cast radiators. There's like nothing, and there's nobody here. So that's why we have security cameras, and they're indoor ones always going off. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? They're coming out of the mirrors. They're going up into the chandeliers. They big as your head, the size of a freaking basketball, just zinging by, and it's like, what the hell?
That's an orb. That's an orb. Unfortunately, ever since they've had these baby video cams, everybody and their mother thinks that they have orbs in their
Oh
house.
yeah.
That's where the
Pick
problem
up the
comes
dust off the
in.
carpets. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
The
what's in
house
a
is empty.
baby's room?
There's
First
like
of all, it's
nothing.
all no, but
Yeah.
in a baby's room, it's
interesting.
all cotton. It's all cotton. It's all natural fibers. You have to think realistically before you start freaking out and taping that. I just found that with the video cameras came a ton of cases of, I've got orbs and I've got spirits in my house. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah.
look at the havoc they wreaked when point and shoot digital point and shoot came out.
Yeah.
You had a rash of people go, "Oh man, look at these orbs. What the hell are these things? I've never seen
Yeah.
these before."
There's one over your head
Because you
right now,
never,
Steve.
yeah. I mean, very rare. Yeah, very rarely. Did you
It's
capture
on
any
your
of that
left
on
side.
film? Yeah.
Yeah. And the best is when they're outside and they're like, well, but I'm outside. I'm
And
like,
they're camping. Look at all the
pollen.
spirits. I'm like,
Pollen.
pollen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
okay if it
I'm a
if it
critic.
makes you laugh and you're having fun with it, great. But please don't come screaming at us telling us that you have orbs.
Well,
sitting
that's the thing. You can't let them down. I mean, you can't. You can tell them until you're blue in the face. Well, look, it's most likely that, but they don't want to hear that. That's not what they
No.
want to hear. They want to hear, oh my God, yeah, you've got some demonic or some loved one, gravitating around
People
you, or
do. I won't
yeah.
say they don't exist, obviously, because
No.
I've seen some pretty amazing things with colors and in faces, and I try to. You have to go through the process of elimination. For here, for example, I'm the worst critic. I'm like picking it to bits. I'm looking around,
Mm.
but when no one's been in the house for 2 months, there's no forced air, there's no activity, there's no windows open, there's nothing in the house. You're in the dead of winter. It's kind of like, well, that's interesting. It's like,
Then yeah, even so though, I mean, try to recreate it, right?
yeah.
You could have a house sitting for God knows how long, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no activity,
Mm-hmm.
and the minute you walk in there, you're gonna have shit flying all over the place,
Oh, that's just it. That's what I say.
right?
When you're
Yeah.
seeing them on the cameras, it's kind of
Yeah,
like, well, that's interesting because I'm at a different house. Going,
yeah.
I'm like,
But I
oh,
mean,
I'm in
yeah.
Burlington watching the Niagara House going, oh shit, look at that. you know, no, things are pretty good here. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure being in a haunted house 24/7, everything runs through your head. It's like, I have to have a shower now. And Wayne's been bugged in the shower. So, and he turns around. He was having a shower one time. He hears a door upstairs creak open. He sticks his head out and goes, "Hey, it's private time." And door closes again.
He's so good with them, though. He gives them
He's
so
really
much.
good
He
with them.
interacts
Yes,
with
yeah,
them,
he
and they
is.
live really well together. So it's
They do.
okay. I
We
think he's
we
just used to it.
we
Yeah.
coexist nicely with them,
Yeah. I'd have a
but
problem with a spirit opening the door while I'm in the shower. I think I'd have a problem with it.
we had
Bad enough
children
I have to
spirits
shower
though,
with my
so
dog sitting at the, the
I know.
base, like, let me in,
I know.
but
Yeah, you get
yeah.
used to it though. You get used to it. Yeah. We're at that
I
point.
don't
Like,
I
whatever.
don't live in a haunted house, but I do live on very haunted land. But last night after midnight, I had a lot of trouble sleeping. I kept getting up to see if my daughter had woken up and couldn't sleep and was watching TV in the living room because I kept hearing voices. So I
Yeah.
couldn't rest. I kept going downstairs and saying, "Okay, like knock it off because I need my sleep. You're not supposed to be in here." I set up a boundary. But
Mhm.
during the night, it was the craziest night I've had in a long time. Nothing malevolent, everything benign and sweet and giggly. And well, some people might find giggly creepy. I find it sweet. But, it was, I was having coffee this morning and I was saying to her, I go, oh my God, like it was just so noisy during the night. She doesn't hear anything, even if the phone's ringing next to her head. So it just, it's that time of year, right? And I accept that. And I think when you look at it different in a different perspective, you can deal with it a lot better than others who might be caught off guard by it.
And it was a full moon
Well,
as well
that's
last
the
night
thing.
too.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was. That's right. Yeah, it
Pardon?
was. Full moon.
Full
Full
moon.
moon.
Yes, I couldn't see it because we were clouded over.
I could see
I
it.
Well, I
haven't
think it
been
was
able to see any. Did you? I haven't been able to see any of them this year. None of them.
I think it was the first blue moon in 40 years or since the
Yeah.
40s or
Yeah.
something like
There
that.
won't be another one, I think they said, till what, like the 2040, something like that, or
Yeah.
2038, something really crazy.
I think the last one was in the 80s, wasn't it? Because I remember seeing it at the
Could have been.
cottage on Lake Simcoe, seeing it and being so fascinated by the size of it over the lake. And the lake was like glass and the vibrancy of the orange. And yeah, because I believe that's the first time I even learned what it was. I was very, very young. So,
A blue moon. Why do they call it a blue
blue
moon? Is it
moon.
actually blue?
No, it's orange.
Yeah, it's weird.
There was someone who was colorblind who named it.
We can't have orange. That's just not a thing.
I can't see it. I can only see blue.
That's
Yeah.
the harvest moon, isn't it?
Yeah.
The orange moon is the harvest moon. Is that right?
Harvest moon.
Well,
Yeah.
this is the first time in how many years that we've had 2 full moons in a month, and one was before Thanksgiving and one now.
Yeah.
For those of you in United States, we've already had our Thanksgiving.
Things are weird in Niagara. I find though, activity wise. Have you guys ever investigated, like, I mean, Niagara on a lake, but Niagara Falls being this close to the falls, it's strange for activity. It is.
You know, number one, like Amelia says, there's a lot of blood on the ground, but at the same time, you have a lot of energy being produced by that river.
You do.
Right?
We feel
So,
it. We feel it.
And it affects the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So no doubt that it affects obviously other things as well, and that being activity.
You hear things
and
coming
the water
off the river.
Too. That's just the water,
At night,
the pressure. It's feeding it, isn't it, Michelle?
Well, yeah, I would think it does. It's powerful. It's energy.
It's
I know that
conductor.
sometimes if you open, like we have the windows open at night, and I swear there's just voices, stuff that comes in. We're very close to the river here, literally, like River Road's just like across the street.
Yeah.
And you can hear the falls from here, and everything just echoes. I'm like, it's got to be like people, but it's not people. I mean, you're sitting at 4 a.m. and you're like, everything's dead quiet. You hear just like voices. They sound like they're right outside the window. And I mean, it could be, it could be a house across the river and they're having a
Is that
party.
somebody calling you, Michelle? I hear somebody calling you.
I always laugh. People go, "There's no one behind you." I'm like, maybe.
Keep an eye. Yeah, look at the hands on the clock there move.
It happens.
I can barely see the clock.
Well, it's weird because it hasn't worked in ages.
Oh, there you go.
If you see them move, good for
Scream.
you.
Scream.
Good for you. Yeah.
Scream help. I'll tap right in and clear that shit. Michelle and I'll just remove it.
So, what do you guys think about a paranormal investigation as it is now, as opposed to before? How do you think it's changed in your? Is it changed for the better? Do you think we've gotten a little further, or do you think we're stagnant? What do you think?
I think it depends on the people, because I can tell you there's some people, I'm sure we agree, we've talked about that too, who do this that maybe shouldn't do it because they're learning everything from sitting on the couch watching certain television shows, and it doesn't mean it's the right technique. Yeah. I think people lose sight of the fact that they're dealing with families and real people who you can't just go in there, start challenging a bunch of stuff and make people feel like they should be privileged that you're there taking care of things and you're not really doing anything. And don't get me wrong, there's some amazing groups out there, and most of them you never even hear about, because they're not interested in putting themselves out there, and they're really amazing. But there's so many out there that are surfacing all the time that really don't get the fact that it's not just about going and taking pictures and videos and readings and somebody behind when you leave out of there, when you leave that place. And if you don't, and these might be the type of investigators that are awesome for public locations and doing events and putting events on and things like that. But, when you're going to go in there, if you're going to be silly, remember you're leaving behind people who have to take the brunt and pick up the pieces of that silliness. You should never make somebody feel like, look, you should be lucky we're here to help you. It's the other way around. I always tell people, thank you for entrusting yourself to me and entrusting your most precious thing, which is your family. Let me take the weight for a little while. Let me just take the responsibility. Why don't you just sit back a little bit? So I've always done things a little bit differently, I think. And my standards are a little bit different because I care about people more than the investigation. I believe that not every place warrants an investigation, but I don't know. We're in different times now. There's new equipment. There's new I mean, the information is out there. There's no reason why people can't be educated before going in to do an investigation. You know, the internet isn't all that. Like, it doesn't give you all the accurate information, but it's going to give you more accurate information than getting no information. Educate yourself properly on not just etiquette and not just equipment usage, but maybe educate yourself a little bit with a little bit of, like, even counseling, even if it's just get a counseling 101, just learn how to deal with people, because I find a lot fall between the cracks, you know?
Well, that's a key point. You know, you have to learn how to deal with people. I mean, if you don't know how to deal with people, there's your flaw right there. And yeah, I agree. It's about the people that you're dealing with and not so much the investigation. It's and I think, yeah, you're right with that as well. Where there are a lot of people out there that, you know, are all about finding a ghost or getting that all important evidence. And
Evidence. I like
in,
that.
yeah, in many cases is not really evidence.
That's right.
The findings, you know, I like to say, but it's really sad. But I mean, I think that's what people, when they do this now, when they get into this, that's what they're all about, what they really care about. It's they totally overlook the people they're dealing with.
It's the TV shows. There's so
Yeah.
many of them out there. I mean, networks are hungry for paranormal shows right now. And there are some surfacing. I have American television, so I see a lot of stuff before it comes here. And there's sometimes I scratch my head going, what? Like, for real? That's a thing? And I think now people are just at a point where they go to investigate something with the intention of, okay, it has to be this or this, so we can go on and do this. You know, they can go in and be on a TV show. I mean, I know somebody who fabricated all kinds of stories to be on a TV show. I'm just waiting for the newest one to come on, because I was like, yeah, I'm going to go run with this one, man. Because I was there and I know exactly what happened and what didn't happen.
Wait till the person that they talk about finds out that they're on that show.
Like the owner of the company. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
Before we go on,
It's karma at its best.
Before we go on, I wanted to recognize a couple of people from a couple of regular listeners of yours who are actually watching the show tonight. CC Champagne, we talked about on break, and also Zachman.
Woo!
Oh, hi
Zachman.
Zach, hi Corinne.
Yeah.
And hi mom. I know Cece's mom. I call her mom. I know she's listening too. Love you, Ilsa.
Aww, thanks for watching. That's awesome.
CC Champagne made a couple of comments actually. She says so many investigate and taunt spirits to get a reading and then leave leave the place. This isn't right. He follows up with saying, if you can't be respectful of people living in a place, then you shouldn't be doing an investigation.
100%.
Yeah, and to sort of add to that, you know, a lot of these people, a lot of these groups or whatever, they're only in there for the evening or the day or whatever. You can't decide on what is, you know, haunted or and your interaction with those people are only for a few hours. These people continuously live in that house. They have to continue on after you leave. So your actions in that particular location will have vibrations down the road and possibly disrupt something that shouldn't.
I agree.
You know,
keep that in mind. What you're doing. It's like knowing that you're going into, let's say, you know that this. Let's just, for argument's sake, this is a demonic portal, and I'm opening that door, and then I'm going to say, "See ya. I did my work. I got my stuff. Good luck."
Yeah.
You wouldn't leave a child with a pedophile or a molester. Why would you leave a child in a home? I have a hard time with it, and you have to always keep in mind, as Michelle said, these television shows, when you're a couch investigator, and that's okay. That's entertainment. But you're not seeing everything. You're not seeing the before the investigation. You're not seeing the research. You're not seeing the after. You're not seeing the follow-up. It's not just 43 minutes of television is hours and hours and hours of filming, and you're not seeing the step-by-step procedure. You're seeing the entertainment factor, because that is what it is entertainment on television.
You're seeing the watered down version.
Absolutely.
It's true.
If you're interested in investigating, you should find a credible investigative team and ask if you can join them and learn. And you're always learning.
There's a lot of good teams that don't bring on new people, though. Like, I mean, my team has been solid. You're the last person I brought on. My team's been solid for, for many years. Just tweak and get rid of,
I'm still waiting for you to answer my request to join.
Jeez. I think I took that spot.
Standing invite, always standing invite. But TV is so bad that I've actually said, like I've semi-retired myself from it. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I will only do, it has to be really, would I work with somebody I've worked with already? Yes. My producers are pretty good if I say, no, I'm not saying that. Because believe me, you see what you've heard. So imagine what you haven't heard. It's like, no, I'm not doing it. But I'm there. I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to keep jumping into the newest unless it's really different and it makes a difference.
Oh, well said.
I agree. I mean, a lot of the, I guess, good, respectable groups out there, seasoned, experienced, and when I say experienced, I don't say experienced with the paranormal, but experienced through their time being in the field and learning, because I mean we're all still learning. I mean that's all we can do.
We're all students, right?
We're all students. But I agree. I like keeping the core guys. It's the same with us, Michelle. The core people. Very rarely do we bring new people in, and the new people that we've brought in have been pretty much a part of something else that sort of, I don't want to say crumbled, but just it became non-existent, and they wanted to carry on, and that particular outfit was pretty respectful as well. So it's really tough to find good people out there.
It is.
And when you do find a good person, you tend to want to stick with them. And right now, I like to say the group that I formed years ago is a family. And that's the way I look at it, as an extended family. We've been through a lot, and we're going to be through a lot more as soon as this COVID. No.
I know. Damn COVID.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it you know what? When you gel together, and it's you have a good thing, and it's
when
rare.
you're solid, you're solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I work like a company also. Like my people are all insured, and which also makes it difficult to just bring on new people, who aren't trained, or because it gets expensive. You're going into, other people's places, and you're, it's just there's a lot involved with that. And I mean, because I tried, it's not like I've never tried. I have tried it. And you just, people just don't want to take direction. You just have to take direction.
Michelle wasn't looking for a medium when I joined. We became friends from meeting, because I bid on a night with her investigating at an auction for
charity.
So that's how we met. And it wasn't until later that we started working together. We were just having so much fun being together. But you have to be like-minded to really meld, and your goals have to be the same. And that's what I love and respect about Michelle, is that the people come first, the family comes first, and the children come first, which is the way I look at things. So I have a lot of respect for her integrity and the way she does things. And then there's a reason why she has longevity in this field.
Go into your background
Bubbles.
a little bit. Go back into your background a little bit, Amelia, because we've had you on the show.
Yeah.
And sort of refresh people about your I guess your take on the paranormal and what you've
Oh,
done.
BTB, before the burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the burrito. Yeah.
Nothing is before the burrito.
Before the burrito.
Not even you, huh?
Yeah, Steve, come on. You should know this.
It's like the old conundrum there. What came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like, what came first, the burrito or us?
Oh, good Lord. I've worked mostly in criminal cases. It started with cold cases, which normally are murder cases. Started by reading photographs, and later I met someone through the field, through different Facebook groups. There was a time when you could actually find a lot of credible Facebook groups. One time, this is a while back. We're talking about 8-9 years. And I started honing my skills through working and learning through. I had about 7 mentors at one time. I always say the more mentors you have in their respective strengths of their gifts is the best thing that you can do for yourself, and see where you fit in and where your strengths lie, because you're not going to have every gift on the planet, but you will be super, super good at one thing. You'll be a master of something, So I worked that way, and then eventually got to meet Bobby Brown through a radio show, an interview that I did. Didn't even know who he was. A co-host that I had at the time asked me to do this show with him to fill in for his hosts. And I was on there, and he said, "Oh, Bobby Brown's coming on the show." And I'm like, the singer? Like, that was, right? For me, that was like Whitney Houston's ex. Like, that's what? And he's like, "Have you ever watched Dog the Bounty Hunter?" I go, "Actually, I have not," which is the truth. I haven't seen it. I've seen the previews. I never saw the show. And he's like, "Oh, no, he's on there. He's a bondsman in Colorado." I said, "Oh, okay, fine. That's great." And then he said he worked on John Benet Ramsey. And I went, "Oh." I got all excited, because that was a dream for me to work on that case. I felt a connection with her from when it happened. But then you always think, nah, that's just something because you really want it that bad that you're finding that connection. So we had him on the show, and he was doing something while he was speaking. And I said, "Mr. Brown, would you be opposed to me reading you?" Which is not something I normally do. "Would you be opposed to a reading right now? Because I do get very deep and very personal, and I want to make sure that it's okay, because there is a message coming across for you." "Absolutely, go right ahead." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "You have 2 pieces of metal in your fingers right now. You took them out of a drawer, and you took them out of something that looks leather." It's like, and this is, I believe it's still recorded online. They were his dad's war medals. He was in the Air Force. We clicked from there. He messaged me after the show and said, "I need to work with you." And he's worked with many psychics before. And I'm an evidential medium, so I tend to pick up a lot of tiny bits of exactly that evidence. He asked me formally and publicly on Facebook to work the John Benet Ramsey case. So it started from there. And it's been amazing to work cases like that, and to learn how to profile and use your skills as a medium in a different way.
And she takes a hit too. Look at the shall we say Bible follower.
That last one. Oh,
the last one. Yeah, she got a pretty
really bad one.
Yeah, pretty nasty message.
It didn't bother me.
But it said if you were an evidential medium, that you will go to hell.
That he would encourage.
Oh, you're gonna love this one.
Oh no, hold on a second.
You guys are gonna love this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, anyways, I take these hits all the time, and let me tell you something. Bobby is a devout Roman Catholic, and if he saw this, I think he'd take a piece off of this gentleman as well. Sorry, sir, but he said, "Oh, I got to find the other one," because he came back because Michelle came at him, and then he came back again. So he writes, "I would encourage Amelia Pisano to stop being an evidential medium, as the Bible condemns such things as an diabolical abomination, and you will end up in a place full of demons. Please get right with Jesus and read the Bible. Mr. Jim Seekers, I pray to God you never need my assistance."
Oh yeah,
I
I was going
pray
to say
to God.
lose a child or allow.
I pray to God, and I can tell you that there are 144 families right now with their children at home that would disagree with you. Just
Good
saying.
for you. Yes.
So Michelle, excerpt out of the book, The Occult Christ, with all of the different scriptures stating gifts of healing, psychometry, counseling. Let us not forget
Logical
who
stuff.
Jesus Christ was, Mr. Seekers. Let's not forget who Jesus Christ was himself and still is an ascended master. He came back and he wrote that photo from that book you sent me. Like you sent it to him, Michelle. It's on our page if you want to read this. And if you'd like to participate, by all means, please do on the Outer Realm Facebook page. That photo,
Go get him.
I worked law. I know damn well I'm not slandering right now, but he is. He just became liable when he put this in writing. Just letting you know, sir. That photo from that book you sent me is written by a man or woman. No, I didn't think it was written by a machine. And it's all false. Mediums are forbidden in the Bible. Google, because Google would be the first thing I think of doing when it comes to the Bible. The following: Isaiah chapter 8, verses 19. Leviticus chapter 19, verses 31. And he goes on. Sir, Leviticus hasn't been in one of our Bibles in a long time. A man or woman who is a medium or a necromancer. That's a pretty sexy name, necromancer. Shall surely be put
Let's do the
to death.
necromancer thing.
Yeah, I'll take that. Shall surely be put to death. They shall be stoned with stones. Their blood shall be upon them. Mr. Seekers, they did that years ago in Salem. It didn't work out so well for them. So that's it. Thank you for that moment.
Bill Bean, go get
I'm
him.
used to. Yeah, go get him, Bill Bean.
Yeah.
I'm used to this because when I finally came out of the closet, how I like to speak out of the mediumship closet, my mom's entire side of the family in Italy, all but one uncle, stopped talking to me. I'm good
Very
with it.
devout Catholics.
I'm good with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it because I know what I do and I know where it comes from. And I can tell you, I probably pray more than half of these people who go to church once a week and put in that envelope and talk about everybody who's there. Do whatever it is that makes you feel good, but don't tell me how to live. And before you condemn me, look and see what I've done with these gifts. None of them are evil and none of them are dark.
We've had a few of those people on call up to the show and tell us pretty much similarity, not so much to the extent that you had to deal with there, Amelia, but yeah.
Well, I didn't deal with it. Michelle did it.
Okay, but I mean, it just it amazes me how these people come out of the woodwork and come up with this stuff, and to me it's like they seem jealous. They seem
I don't know.
They're uneducated.
Uneducated, disturbed.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, there's so many things that come to mind about these people. You know, that they have to make your life miserable for what?
You know what comes to mind for me?
His own, man.
He's quoting scripture. Why isn't he quoting the scripture that thou shalt not cast stones?
Because most people read the Bible, but they don't all. And I'm like I said, because I know many people who do. Many do not take the time to grasp and understand what they're reading, because they're trying to memorize it, but they're not really getting it.
No, I read it. Ask me if I remember any of it. No, I'm not kidding.
I don't remember any of it either.
There's so much stuff there to.
You're dealing with two different testaments.
Yeah.
Two different testaments, and you're dealing with a bunch of many gospels that are missing. An interpretation. Yeah.
I have a friend who's a religious theologian, and who used to be a minister out of North Carolina, but he's a theologian. He's real logical minded also, and he's just like, you can actually have a really amazing conversation, because he just goes, they look at it like this or like this or like this. Scripture says this, and this, but in all reality, it's been translated, 3,000 times, therefore it's this, and this. Like, that's just it. People, you have to remember it's been translated by a human being, or by a machine now, computers, like,
Yeah.
just
It's
to each his own.
I welcome people like Mr. Jim Seekers, and I will keep giving your name out, to check on my Facebook page and interact with the people that I have assisted, whose children were murdered or taken and never to be found, or then recovered later. That a lot of information that was given to them by me was what led them there. I never claimed to solve any case. I'm only a piece of the puzzle, as is any detective. It's a team. Everything's a team.
That's what I like about you, Amelia, because I was dealing with somebody in your shoes for many, well, I don't want to say many years, but a few years. And he would claim that he helped solve. He solved.
He didn't. I know who you're talking about.
World renowned.
I'm just
and it wasn't even. Do you know who solved Tori Stafford?
Oh, so you know exactly what I'm talking.
Oh, I know exactly because I was supposed to have him on the show with Bobby and I, and we won't mention his name, but we did a background check on him.
Yep.
Which is what we did with every guest. You have to remember, when I did the show with Bobby, everything is legal. Everything is libel, slander. I had to check across all my T's, dot all the I's. I did a background check on him. Not me, but Bobby's company does that. And he's his own production company. And plus, that's what they do, is background checks.
Yep.
Producer calls me up and says, can't have this show tonight. And I'm like, well, all I did was send one link. And I'm not going to say without pleasure, because I know you're watching, because that's just what you do. Tori Stafford was not solved by you. Tori Stafford was solved by the woman who is portrayed on the show The Medium. She was on a flight and
Alison Dubois.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. That is who solved Tori Stafford, not you. Not to mention there are many hate pages out on you as well.
Just before we go on,
I know nothing about any of that.
It was
no,
messy.
But do. That was very messy.
I
was going through that the first time I met you guys. I was going through all that crap with him that time
really?
that I met you guys.
What us?
Me after when I first met you guys and we did that live show.
Oh.
He messaged me that have him on that week, and he messaged me and said, "You ruined it. Thanks for effing up the show." I still have that message. It's in Messenger. Like, don't write things down, dumbass. You work with the police. Anyways, he wrote it down, and then he has pictures of himself shaking hands with officials, saying that he's been awarded. You might want to take care of that background shot of Sport Check in the mall when you do those pictures. Just saying.
Yeah.
We have a question actually.
Yeah.
Zachman asked a question. In your opinion, what was your favorite investigation you have done, separate or together, and what was the best piece of evidence they caught from the investigation?
For who?
For you two.
Is he asking?
You two.
Oh, I'll let Michelle take that, because I've only been investigating for a short while with Michelle for the paranormal side.
It's a really hard question for me because I've been to some really amazing locations. I had a location out of Kincardine where the house would actually phone my house, and I've got all kinds of recordings, and I've sent those recordings off to be analyzed. I had a guy in the U.S. ages ago who used to do EVP classes, and he never charged for them. So I'd send him all kinds of stuff. Said, here, let your students just pick these to bits, see what you come up with. So it was a lot of fun. And they didn't they couldn't discredit the EVPs, which I thought were interesting. That was a really interesting place because so many unbelievable things happened. But, I've been to many different parts of the world, too. My time in Hoia Forest, Romania, was probably one of the most memorable times there. And I don't know, all the equipment went down. There are some recordings, but it's just, there's nothing. It's more of a personal experience. There's, eyewitnesses. There were four of us there actually. So when you're all kind of seeing the same thing, it kind of going, holy crap, But yeah, there's a lot of evidence from a lot of great places. To say one, what's my favorite? I would say the Kincardine House was probably one of my favorites because it's delivered time after time after time. But I've been in all kinds of places that have done that.
I can't discuss any of the cases. Those are all non-disclosures, and confidentiality. You can't discuss any of the abduction cases or cold cases. That's just the way it is. And I would never have a favorite because someone's passed away in all of these. So that, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sort of going back to the Bible, I've got the best expert sitting beside me right now. Hold on a sec. Hey, Siri.
Siri the cow has an opinion. The one that makes you sound dyslexic all the time. That's good.
Michelle still talks to her.
Like, you stupid cow.
I changed mine to a British male. He gets me more.
She's a British Siri, but she's still, I only keep her the way she is.
No,
because
I got a male.
I can call her a cow, and because the woman follows me on Twitter.
I think the best.
My daughter interviewed Susan Bennett. We actually know her.
She's sweet, yeah.
I think she's
very sweet. Her kids are so irritated by that, though.
the best is when people get into an argument with Siri.
Oh.
Yeah. I should start recording my arguments with Siri and I can send them to you. You could probably make a whole show. Like,
just text Michelle because she transcribes everything for her. So, and then everything she says to her while Michelle's getting upset because Siri's not getting it right, Siri's sending it to you. What's even scarier? You know what's more scary than that is that I can understand what Michelle's trying to tell me. It's like, did you get that, Bubbles? Yep. Sadly, I did.
See, Alex likes his version, eh? Alexa?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Alexa's like a version of 1950s FBI's listening on the phone. That's how I feel about Alexa.
That's why I like it.
So, that's why I like it. Who do you think's smarter, Alexa or Siri?
I'm gonna go with Siri because I know her.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I have evidence that says nuh-uh.
Otherwise?
It's not her fault. That's all AI.
Hey, Steve, why don't you ask Siri for a burrito recipe?
Hey, Siri. Can you give me a recipe for a burrito?
Okay. I found this on the web for can you give me a recipe for a burrito? Check it out.
It's funny, they got the picture of you. There's a picture of Alex.
Wrapped in a burrito.
I want to see some enthusiasm.
See, BYOB just got a new beginning. Bring your own burrito.
That's right. And the special sauce, too, while you're at it.
Just don't eat the large.
Burrito with special sauce. Not want to know what that is.
You don't.
No, it's hot sauce. It's hot sauce.
It's mucho caliente.
Oh boy, say that 3 times.
Yeah, say that 5 times quick.
Right now.
Come on.
Ask Siri to see it.
Oh God.
So is there a
Get
place?
Siri to say
Is there a place you Michelle? This is more geared towards you, but or even Amelia. But is there a place you guys have not had a chance to sort of investigate that you would love to get a chance to investigate?
Together, that would be a different answer because I think Michelle's investigated everywhere. There's places I'd like to investigate together with Michelle, but they're all European. None of them are here. They're all in Europe.
I think everything's pretty saturated. I've been fortunate to travel to many different parts of the world and investigate, and I always call it the working vacation. But the name is eluding me. The Italian island. Which one is it?
Corsica.
Oh, Parofelia.
Yes.
Parovelia.
Oh, okay.
My daughter, one year she wanted to go to Italy, meet up with some friends of hers that she knew from when she lived in Australia. She goes, for Christmas, I'd like to go to Rome. I'm like, okay, no problem. So we just sent her. It was cheaper than everything else she normally wants on her Christmas list. So, yep, I had points. Airline
I love
points.
this
Yeah,
girl. I love
I know.
this girl.
I sent her over there. So she ends up going, got very close to this island. So she messaged me. She goes, oh, guess what's just across the bay? And she mentions the island. I'm going, okay, you need to go there. And she goes, okay. I said, just get some EVPs. I'll just find out how, get somebody to take you over. I'll just transfer you over some money. Oh, no, yeah, no. The locals looked at her like, oh, no. Nobody would take her anywhere near the place. I'm like, offer them double. She's like, they won't take me. Says, I don't care what it costs, Anyway, no, they would not go to Bavaria at all. They would just not do it. And she's just like, it's not for a lack of trying. I would love to go. I know they've filmed there. I know it's been purchased up again. I believe everything.
The government closed it officially. It was actually this year. The government, because my mother used to say in Italian, instead of Vaffa Napoli, she would say Mandolo a Parovelia, send them to hell. And Parovelia is not hell, it's the island, but they saw it as hell.
That's right.
So that's what they would say instead of, go to hell, she'd send you there. She's like, go to Parovelia.
Why not?
It just sounds better in Italian, right?
It does. But, everything sounds better in Italian. But yeah, that would be there's a lot of places in the world that I would still love to investigate. Maybe that one's because it is off limits. That's why I want it. I don't know.
I'm like a big kid that way. Mission Impossible it and come over in a Chinook and just let them roll us down all those. Because if you landed on there, it's all ash. You're just gonna sink, right?
That's why she's my little compadre.
Yeah, you kind of have to hover. That's right. You kind of have to hover over it like Tom Cruise, and he's little like me, so he's not tall.
It could work.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, we could hover over it and during the night and just cloak the Chinook. We know you can do it. We know that you guys can do that kind of shit. Yeah.
Just cloak the Chinook. There
you
go. You have your way in, Michelle. She's getting your way in here.
And if we can't do that, I'll call a cousin.
Get me in there. I'll
call a cousin that's still talking to me.
I've been to some crazy haunted places. To me, it's just, nothing. I don't know. I'm not afraid of places like that. And it's like, yeah, let's just do it.
Well, let's
be fine with it.
Let's build on that. What about a location that has totally creeped you out besides the forest? A location like an interior.
She wasn't creeped out in the forest. She wants to go back, Steve, and she wants to drag me with her.
Yeah, no, that place is intriguing. I'd love to go there.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
Then you go with Michelle.
Oh, okay. I'd love to go there. Another place I'd love to go to is the Suicide Forest at Mount Fuji.
Yeah, it actually it fell into second place from Hoya Baciu. Yeah. So I don't know, something major must have happened and remained to bump up the Suicide Forest. But there are so many. I think there's the Black Forest in Germany. There's so many different places in the world that are really extreme like that. You just don't really hear about them. And for me, I think I enjoy researching historic places more than anything to try to, I love communicating with the spirits of a different time who tell you the way things were. I love to touch the walls when I go to places. I love to look at symbols. I really like codes and stuff, right? So I'm always looking around and, but I don't know. It's just, I think I do darker places or darker hauntings because It just doesn't bother me. I'm a bit of a meathead that way. I'm both in both feet going, yeah, right there.
You know where I'd love to go with you, Michelle? Right now, if we could fly there, I would go right now with Michelle to Notre Dame.
Oh yeah.
And see what
I've been
is
to Notre
going
Dame.
on. But right now, after the fire, in the construction, can you imagine the activity in that place right now?
Oh, I can imagine it just
fine.
My
God.
There was a lot of
I got
activity
chills
the
just going up my arms thinking about it.
I've been
have they finally restored it, or is it still?
No.
Oh, it's going to be something like 20 or 30-year process.
They can't even dry it out. No. They can't even dry it out.
Wow.
No, it's really bad. Yeah, the guy's like, oh, French Prime Minister, I haven't done it in 5 years.
Very sad, but I'd love to sit with a conspiracy theorist over this one.
Oh, there's some stuff in there, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'd love to sit with one over this.
Exactly. You're like being hunted down.
Come on, insurance claim. Come on, insurance claim.
Sure. Yeah. No.
Let's go with the insurance claim. It's safer.
It is safer, even though most of the paintings were removed.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of places that are,
Have you ever thought about the Dietlov Pass?
Yes, I actually have.
That'd be too cold, though.
It would be
freezing.
Do you know, I did a sizzle for a show a couple of years back, and it was actually included on the list of places to go. And I laughed because I'm just like, okay, first off, it's way up there. And the chances of trying to get in there safely, but mind you, they had Everest on the list too. I'm going, okay, what do I look like, freaking Indiana Jones? I think
that would be fun.
It would be. But I'm not into climbing freaking mountains.
I don't want to go anywhere where there's snow. It's enough to deal with here.
Well, there's snow both places.
But Iceland, I would want to go to. Iceland, I would want to see. I'd probably come back anorexic from Iceland. Sorry, everyone in Iceland, but I've seen the food. I probably would come back anorexic. But it would be a beautiful place to see.
There's great places. Dyatlov is something that's always sat in my psyche because there's the logical side of me that says military. There's that other side of me that goes, what would have possessed them to rip their way out of their tents and why run to the forest when they felt they were being followed for all those miles? Like it's
I got the chills.
Yeah,
and then you look at some of the wounds that some of them sustained. It just didn't make any sense.
It didn't, but that's what I'm saying. It's one of those places. It's got the history, but it's got the paranormal. It's got the conspiracy. But yeah.
I think one of the latest ones that just I just can't get into, but the Yeti.
The Yeti.
Oh.
Yeah,
with Dyatlov, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, they claimed that they were followed. I mean, that's why they went in the first place, was they call them the snowman, was to look for it. Yeah. And they looked through the old journals and they said, no, we're being followed. And they snapped a photo that when you look at it at a distance, it looks like it could have been. But when, there was a different show and they showed the same photo, and through all this amazing technology we have, when they zoomed in on it, it actually looked more like, I know I've got one. I just love those.
That's cool.
That's the only Yeti I see.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
They actually believed it was a guy dressed in a military suit.
Yeah.
No. What were they looking at? What was the experiment? Did they get close to something? Did they, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But aren't they just cousins to Bigfoot?
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind of. Right? I know my dad bought me one of those years ago. I goes, oh, I'm going to buy you a Bigfoot. Thank you.
I don't even want to talk about who gave me that, but anyways.
You know what else is interesting?
There's a reason why it's in the closet.
Some of the photos that were taken, some of the last photos that were taken from the camera that they retrieved.
When was that picture I was just talking about?
Yeah.
That guy standing behind a tree.
Standing there, yeah.
He said it was spotted, and then one of the last entry was, the snowman is real. And but when they really enhance this picture, it looked there. They claim, I mean, the government claims it's a guy in a military suit, and when you look at it, it could be, but they're just not crisp enough. You don't know that it's not one or the other.
Yeah.
So the government has opened it back up again, and for the Russians to do that, that's something.
That's huge.
I had a friend who came over here from Russia. He's living here now. He was a part of the Russian army. And I asked him about that, and he kind of chuckled about it and said, "Oh yeah, I remember that when I was a kid. My mom used to tell me about that." And he goes, he kind of alluded to it being governmental, but he couldn't really say too much. But I said, well, "What do you think? Do you think this was just a case of them just going stir crazy, and they're in the cold, they they can't, they're not going to make it out alive, and freezing cold, you rip your clothes off, you do all sorts of weird stuff when you're hypothermic, and just at a point where you're like, oh, there's all sorts of crazy stuff." And then I asked him, "What about the wounds?" "Oh, that's animals." And I said, "Well, they kind of said that it could be possible, but not really."
It's typical Bigfoot behavior, the breasts of the woman, the eyes, but a bear will do the same thing, like soft tissue first.
Yeah.
It really could go either way. What I found compelling was that they did find little slivers of, how soldiers would have sort of like, I can't not remember what they're called, but they will cover the shin and they go over the boots.
Shin guard?
The cloth, yeah, they're made of cloth. Is it a shin guard? Yeah, that easy. Well, shit. That's what they do, right? But they found some near the tents. They found a set there near the tents, and the fact that they went in there, like, I don't know how many days later, 12 days later or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And then they found these things. They're kind of going, well, what are these doing here then?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of weird stuff surrounding this. I mean,
we really don't know.
No.
When people say to me, "You believe in Bigfoot?" I go, "I talk to dead people, so like I kind of have to be a little open-minded,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got to talk with Alex every Sunday night, so
that's like talking to someone like a dead person.
Very.
He's so quiet.
It's one of those mysteries that, it's a 50-plus-year-old mystery that's going to, I think, stay. I don't think anybody's ever going to figure it out. Government certainly is never going to allow it.
No. Especially if they're at fault, behind it. They're not going to say anything.
No, exactly.
Guys, get your info out there for the listeners and viewers. We're out of time.
Already.
I know.
Oh, wow.
God.
2 hours fly by.
Wow.
It was so much fun. Thank you.
It's always fun.
Always fun,
You can find Amelia and I on the Outer Realm every Wednesday night and Thursday night, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. You could find me a couple times a month on the Grey Zone Uncensored with myself and Joe Montaldo. So, every couple of Saturdays. Anyway, we try to have a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah.
So that's always
that
a lot of fun.
information's posted on our Facebook page as well.
Which is that?
The Outer Realm.
Facebook.com. There you go.
There we go.
Awesome, guys.
So
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you.
Always fun, and we look forward to having you back on.
And ditto.
We look forward to that as well.
I'll message you, and we'll do that thing where we kind of like get you on and stuff.
Sounds good.
I can't drink on your show though.
No,
I can't drink on my show. Why should you be allowed to drink on the show?
You can smoke on the show. We can't, but neither one of us smoke, so it works out really well.
Yes. No. If you're gonna have a drink, you're gonna have to do it in a coffee cup.
Make it look like.
There you go.
Make it look more like I'm drinking orange juice.
There you go. There's the loopholes. There's
Well,
loopholes.
it's a little bit difficult when, Alex is holding up that brown liquor. in that beautiful crystal.
It's Coke. It's Coke.
That's pretty damn watered down.
It's iced tea. It's iced tea.
There you go. That works.
Yeah.
It's iced tea.
That works. That's what they use.
I gotta make sure that the glass is really full so it'll look legitimate.
As long as you don't start slipping legitimately at the end of that glass.
Oh, I will be.
Use a coffee cup.
Yeah, I will be.
Yeah, just use a coffee cup.
Yeah.
There you go. Use a coffee cup.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like what is it? It doesn't look as good as his idol David. What's his name? That comedian, the English comedian. What's his name? Dave Allen at Large. That's it. Always had that.
Yes.
What?
Sorry.
I just keep thinking of Julian on Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, that too.
Never seen that show either.
Oh.
That's all right. No, Richard Cameron was a really good friend of mine, so I used to watch it all the time. He played Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was it? The Dirty Burgers. He was actually an intellect, and he loved ghost hunting and ghost research. Yeah. Who knew?
All right, guys. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Always good to have those two on the show.
Yeah. I gotta resize my window here.
He's having problems with his windows?
Good lord. Skype always does that.
Oh, blame Skype.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
The easy way out, right?
It's the easy way out.
The easy way out. So, your Halloween was good?
That was uneventful.
Would you end up doing nothing?
We just went for a drive.
So what? Checking out decorations? What were you just seeing? What kind of destruction?
No, we took drives in
houses?
We took drives in the lonely country roads, hoping to come across some weird creatures.
And no luck.
No luck, except for a rabbit.
And don't tell me you hit the rabbit.
No, I avoided it.
You avoided it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's definitely nice to go for a drive right now. There's some really, it's still beautiful out there, man.
It is, yeah.
You know,
for sure.
That's what I mean when we shot the episode of this Nocturnal Night Shots 3.
Yeah.
Shooting in that woodlot was pretty cool.
It was.
And wait till you see the footage, man. Like the drone footage. Incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
I can imagine. I can imagine, yeah.
Full HD. He did a great job.
That's good. I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure our longtime listeners all know what Nocturnal Night Shots is. For those of you who just are new listeners to the show, we have a side project called Nocturnal Night Shots. We have 2 episodes already. Third one's coming out soon. And I don't know if the first 2 were on Vimeo. Third one, I guess
I might just add them here.
Yeah, it'll be a good thing to add them to YouTube as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna add them here so everyone can see those on YouTube here, so they can see those. So,
sure.
Yeah, the first episode we did on the Credit River creature, and the second episode we did on the old farmhouse, the Tremaine house.
Yeah.
So, and the third one is tentatively called The Mysterious Woodlot.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
It was a very mysterious woodlot.
It was. I mean, especially the second night of shooting.
Yeah, definitely.
Was quite eerie. It just eerie in a sense where, was there something going on, or was it just us thinking something was going on?
Well, you're gonna have to watch and find out.
We'll have to watch and find out. And I got to get Gord to pass me he's got some audio too.
Yeah.
within what do you say, 52 seconds of his audio.
No, even less. I think it was 32.
32 seconds?
Yeah, I think it was very quick.
I'll have to get him to pass his audio for that, because I'd like to include that in the episode as well.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to take a while to patch it together, because there's so much we actually got a lot of footage, so that's cool. So hopefully we won't need more, and I can go with what we've shot.
Yeah.
So,
And
like,
are you going to include the blooper?
yeah, well, of course, at the end credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to include the blooper.
You got it. Like there's that. Like I said, there's probably going to be a special section at the end of it called the Gordisms.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You can make a whole episode with just Gordisms.
For sure.
Right? Dr. Demon Gord.
That's right.
Who's a regular on the show. Yeah, so he joins us for this third episode. And a friend of mine, Patrick, shot the drone footage and was a part of the episodes as well. He's in there. I think it was the second night we shot. Actually, I freaked him out a little bit when we were inside the forest, when you guys went back outside it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when we were having that episode with the wind going on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we were trying to like test things out. And I kind of freaked him out because I said, "Hey, what's that? What's that? Is that a light?" And he turned around like really quickly, like there was somebody right behind us.
Oh, jeez.
And I freaked him right out. If I was in the Philippines, I'd be out of here.
Yeah.
You're not in the Philippines, and how come you're not out of here yet?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm looking forward to patching that sucker together and getting the final result out there for everyone to see. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
And speaking of, next Sunday, Gord's going to be on the show, right? We're gonna talk about that.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna talk, and hopefully, like I said, I'll go through the audio and stuff like that I've captured for that evening, and see just exactly, or hear if we have something interesting.
That's right.
So, and like I said, I'm gonna have to get Gord to pass me his audio. I got to hear what he's possibly captured as well. Until next Sunday night, I want to thank Michelle and Amelia for joining us this evening. Always great having them on. Check out their radio show, The Outer Realm.
Yep.
And you can find them on Facebook, and to see what guests they have coming up, and so on and so on. Yeah, until next Sunday night, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us. All you new viewers or listeners to the show, thank you again for joining and supporting the show. We appreciate y'all. Until next Sunday night, we'll see you then. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.